Former NFL quarterback Chris Sims, what he saw from Joe Flacco and the Browns offense in the loss to the Ravens.
Cleveland's offense, not good enough. Joe Flacco made a horrible interception when the game was 13-3, and you went, hey, they're kind of hanging around. Let's see what he's going to do. But again, as I always say, for a guy who's played so much football like Joe Flacco, every game he'll do one or two things where you're just like, I can't believe he did that. That's like a rookie almost. And the moment in this game was he's scrambling to the right. He's getting close to the sidelines. He just throws a ball downfield into like double coverage. And Nate Wiggins gets it, returns it almost to the house. He gets to like the 5-yard line, right? Yep. And that kind of seemed to be the point, and from there on out, where Baltimore took over the football game and really controlled it from there on out.
Lance, you and I have talked about it. I'm not a let's see what the rookie quarterbacks have guy, but there has to be a veteran. Right now, there are certain instances, key moments, where Joe Flacco's not playing like the veteran that you expect him to.
Well, my post game yesterday, I talked about those guys need to play when they're ready. However, the argument, and I agree with this, is a fair argument, that if he keeps playing bad in games and making those crucial mistakes, and I'll go as far to say, yesterday as I'm breaking down the film, with just under 5 minutes to go, it's 20-10. So they're in that ball game, almost pushing towards the end of the third quarter, and if you get into the fourth quarter, it's like making the playoffs. Once you get in, you roll the dice and you play. That's what it is making the fourth quarter in the NFL. If it's close in the fourth quarter, anybody can win. And that's where they were. And then that throw. And that throw was it was bad. And I do a lot to defend the quarterbacks, and I tell people not to panic, but that was a really bad throw. However, the panic button can't be set yet. Now, you can demand better play, and you can demand, if you turn the ball over, and I know he's turned the ball over, you also don't want to set those young guys up for failure, because we've seen that before with young guys. And there's a reason maybe they weren't taken in the first round. Obviously, I just don't think the panic button comes against the Green Bay Packers and their very good defense. I think you have to play close to the best. I think you have to protect the football. And I'm going to say this over and over this week with everybody I talk to. They got to make sure if it's 3rd and 8, they run the ball. And people are like, that's that. And I understand it's boring, and I understand it's not winning football in for some instances. But I think this defense can be so good if they can get some good secondary play that they can overcome, and think about the Steelers and the Ravens and things like that. That's my thought on how they win. They got to play close to the best on offense, and they got to be better on special teams.
Well, here, this will give you some numbers to back up what you're thinking. The Browns have 77 turnovers in their last 30 games, 2 1/3 per game. And their record in that span, 14-23. So you're not going to win games in the NFL when you don't win the turnover battle, or at least push it. Now, the offense has turned the ball over 4 times, and the defense hasn't gotten a takeaway yet.
Yeah, they're going to have to. So the defense is playing great, but the one thing that they haven't done, they didn't even do it in their 23 year when they're outstanding, which tells you how good they've been. They got to create some turnovers, because they're going to have to create short fields, just like the defense they're seeing when the Browns turned over. Short fields make an offense much better. Turnovers make an offense much better, especially a poor offense that can't do much right now, which they can't. If you can get some turnovers and have some short drives, like I said, they went the Ravens went 48 yards and got 10 points. They had to go 3 yards for the 1 touchdown and the punt block and things like that. And for me, the entire talk is about Joe Flacco. The special teams for me does not get a pass right here, because when you're struggling in offense, you got to win on special teams, because special teams is about alignment. Special team is about knowing who you have. Special teams about, think about it. They made all their kicks and they punted it well, and the special teams played terrible. So that's where they got to make their improvement. They got to create some turnovers, and they got to win special teams.